गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिनी व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. So let me share now the page where we would be able to see the main slokas of the Panchadashi. Okay, so you can see the slokas. Okay, so here, yeah, what happened to that page? Give me 1 second. Yeah, so we were here. Yeah. So, Bhakpani Pada Payupaste Rakhe Tat Kriya Janihi Mukhadi Goloko Swaste Tat Karmendriya Panchakam. So, after discussing about Krishi and Vanijya and all that, he's saying Panchasu Antarbhavantihi. You can include these 5 karmendriyas and all the activities that they do, and the detailed and very specific activities undertaken by you would be included, kind of covered by the 5 general activities, by the 5 karmendriyas that we have. That was what we were discussing in the last class. And what are the karmendriyas we have? There is a discussion of it. Vakpani pada payupastehi akshehi. These are the karmendriyas. Tat kriyajanihi mukhadi golakeshu aste. Where do you locate? What is the locus of these activities, of these karmendriyas? Mukhadi, starting with the, you see Vagendriya, it is there in the mukham. So that is how one of the other, they will explain that this is how you gradually make sense. So to start with, the first one is Vak. Vagendriya was, you have the 5 karmi jnanendriyas, that is Sotra and Twak and Shakshu. And then what else you have? Chakshu, after that you have Rasanendriya and Ghanendriya. These are the 5 jnanendriyas. And Vakpani Pada Payupasta. Each of these have, yeah, kindly mute yourself. Kindly. Yeah, kindly. Thank you. So, yeah, let me go back where we were discussing it. Give me a second. So, Bhakpani Pada Payupastehi Akhe Tat Kriyajanihi Mukhadi Golakeshu Aste Tat Karmendriya Panchakam. These 5 karmendriyas, you locate them in the 5 physical locations of the body. Okay. So, where do you have the Vagendriya located? And where is your Rasanendriya? Obviously in the tongue. And then your Jnanendriyas, Bhakpani, Pana, the hands, okay, and the Padas, the legs. So the Indriya Devatas, which are actually invisible, you do not easily locate them, but you can locate the physical seeds, the physical framework in which you can locate them. Okay, that is what. It's very simple. There is nothing more profound, to understand this. These are very simple. Therefore, there is no additional commentary. If you look at the commentaries I was looking at, there is nothing, no detailed commentary is also provided in either Ramakrishna Tika or in the Kalyana Piyusha. What do they say in the, let me look at the Ramakrishna Tika. Vagadi Vir, by the Vagadi, means you will add other 4 karmendriya. Akshehi means indriyehi. Tat kriyajanihi tasam kriyanam utpatihi bhavati iti sheshaha. So Vagendriya is able to speak. With the help of Vagendriya, we speak. And therefore, the Mukham is the beginning point from where. So, for example, we say Akuha Visharjaniyam Kantha in the Vyakarana. Different words and different letters, when we pronounce them, they have a particular point in our mouth from where we do their pronunciation. We are able to speak these letters, these alphabets. Okay. And these Vagendriya, then all speech emanates out of the Mukha. That is the Mukha Golaka from which we are able to produce sound. And Adivi means you will add the Pani, Pada, Payu, and Upastha, all other physical centers of activity of these karmendriyas. Akshayi tat kriyajanihi. The products of these kriyas or activities. Tasam kriyanam utpatihi. So, for example, flushing out the dirt out of your body, either liquid or semi-solid, can it be done by the hands? No. By the legs? No. There is a specific activity for which a specific karmendriya is responsible and it discharges that function. Bhavati iti shesaha atrapi uktihi. Now let's do a proof, a logical, syllogism if you want to present. Uktihi karana purvika kriyatvat. All that we speak, these words, this speech, karana purvika. This is possible only with the help of a certain karmendriya, karana purvika. Why? What is the hetu? What is the proof? Kriyatvat. Because it is kriya, it has to be performed with the help of some karana, some indriya, some karmendriya. Ityadi karya lingakam anumanam drashtabhyam. Karya lingakam. Linga here is chinha or an indicator. So because there is sound, if a person is able to say something in a very articulate manner, you say that he is a good speaker. That a person is able to speak. Can it be inferred if he doesn't speak? Can you find out that a person is a great painter if he hasn't done a single painting? He might think he's a great artist, but unless he paints, how do you know he's able to paint? So looking at the products, we infer what kind of activity we are capable of. Tasya karmendriya panchakasya sthanani aha mukhadini. So mukha and pani, pada, payu, upastha, these are physical points in the body from which these karmendriyas get activated. Adi sabdena karacharanau guda sisna chidre cha grihyate. Adi sabdena what? Kara and charana. Bak pani. Pani indriya would be there in your hands. Charana, pada indriya will be there in charana. Guda, that is payu. And upastha is shishna. Shishna chidre. Shishna is that reproductive organ cha grihyate. Idanim ukta desha indriya prerakattvena prastutasya manasah krityam sthanam cha darshayati. Next sloka deals with the mind or the manas, which is the sasta indriya. Among the jnana indriyas, it is the most superior one, and is going to talk about that. So let's talk about these jnana indriya. Let's talk about it. Are you being able to see? Have I shared? Let me share it again. Yeah, you're being able to see it. So let me go to that Panchadashi, that particular shloka here. Manodasendriyadhyaksham ritpadmagolake sthitam tachantah karanam bahye swaswatantriyad vinendriyaihi manaha dasa indriyadhyaksham. Mind is the boss of the 10 indriyas. Why so? How is it the boss? You see, we have discussed that even earlier. Now, you can see only with the help of your eyes. You can pick up something only with the help of your hand. Some people do it with the help of their leg. through proper practice. Can you see with your ears? No. Can you see with your nose? No. You cannot. Specific jnanendriyas have ability to perform specific functions. The mind during dream, when none of these indriyas are active, is able to create a reality in which it experiences the ability to touch, to see, to hear, to speak. It does everything in your dream state. What is active there? Only manas, none of the others. The mind can experience the result of Indriya Sanyoga even when the Indriyas are silent, through imagination, through memory. You had a very lovely cup of ice cream, maybe a couple of decades back, and you're going back to your own school, and suddenly you see the same ice cream shop. You have not tasted anything, but suddenly you experience, the whole experience comes back to you. And how does that happen? You saw that location, that's fine, but it's the mind which produces that experience in you. Mano dasendriya dhakshyam. And where is it located? Hrit Padma Goloke Sthitam. Is the mind actually located in your heart center, physically speaking? No. This is very, very symbolic. Hrit Padma Goloke, the lotus of the heart is kind of compared to the lotus. Goloke Sthitam, it is located in the heart center of the person. Why? Why is it so located? Because it's extremely subtle, doesn't have a physical entity, and therefore, one way to say that it's in the center of your being, they say Hrit Padma Goloke Sthitam. Tacha Antakaranam, and there other indriyas are Paranchi Khani. The other indriyas have their doors open to the external reality. The mind accesses everything, but it is inside. It remains inside and it's active within us. It doesn't have any direct connection with any external object or perception. Mark my words. Sankalpa Vikalpatmakam Manaha. It does Sankalpa and Vikalpa. And it does a lot of vichara. It does a lot of analysis. Is it going to be tasty? No, it doesn't look so good. Let me go for that other sweet dish. It does this kind of analysis. The indriyas we have can tell us the color of the rasgulla. Whether the rasgulla is going to be very tasty, that is the mind which imagines. The eyes cannot tell us. Eyes cannot tell us. If you touch the rasgulla with your tongue, it can tell you it's sweet or something. Whether you're going to have it, it may taste very good, but the mind may say, no, it tastes very good, but don't have it. Why? So, antakaranam swatayad vina indriyehi. Why is it called antakaranam? Why is it called antakaranam? There is another reason being given. The mind cannot conceptualize or conceive of any external reality except through the external senses. Let's repeat it. The mind is unable to access any reality except through the external senses. Such as what? Now, there is a construction of certain ideas you have. Somebody gives you a project proposal. You want to buy a house. So, 5, 6 project proposals are there on your table. Now, without going and seeing them, even if you may have a very sharp mind, it cannot take a decision as to which particular house you should purchase, which one is suitable for you. But the Indriyas you have cannot tell you that house is good or this house is good. They might tell you this is going to look like this, the blueprint looks like this, it says it will have this facility, blah, 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 all that you can know. You can see the sample building and you can come back. But without the benefit of the mind, without the benefit of the manas, you cannot have any reflection on the suitability of the suitability without the sahakaritva, without the assistance of the jnanendriyas and the karmendriyas you have. Therefore, two things are very obvious here. The mind is definitely superior to the external senses. At the same time, the mind is not autonomous and independent in its ability to decide anything, to conceive of any reality without the assistance of the external senses we have. Okay, there are two things. That is why this is made very obvious here. Let's look at the Ramakrishna Tika, which is going to make it even more clearer. Manasa antarindriyatvam sanimitakam aha. With a good explanation, it is saying the mind is the internal sense of tesam sahakaram antara, without the external jnanendriya, sahakaram antara, without their cooperation, without their assistance, bahyeshu vishayeshu aswatyantriyam tasmat manaha antakaranam indriyam iti uchyate. Without the help of the external jnanendriyas or the sense organs, the mind in itself cannot have any access to the external reality. It processes information accessed by the external sense organs. Therefore, it is called the internal indriyamiti uchyate. Vishaya grahane asya asadharana karanatvat karanatvam chaiti bhavaha. Why is it called antakarana? Antakarana because it is extremely general. It is a sadharana karana. Without the presence of the mind, because as per the Nyayayikas, first there is Vishaya Indriya Sanyoga, then there is Mana Indriya Sanyoga, then there is Atmana Sanyoga, then there is Jnana. Let me repeat it again. So there is this two fingers. Vishaya Indriya Sanyoga, the eye connects with these two fingers, the presence of these two fingers. Then there is Indriya Mana Sanyoga. The Indriyas get connected with the Manas. Then there is Atma Mana Sanyoga. It is like a doorkeeper. Then there is Atma Mana Sanyoga. And then in Atma, the Jnana of these unglis takes place in the Atma. Is what the Nyayakas. So the mind is standing in between the Indriyas and the platform on which any knowledge is produced as per the Nyayakas. Therefore, it has a very complex and it is a very sadharana thing. Therefore, it is also called karana. That's what it is mentioning. Here he's saying there is a bit of more explanation. The antakaranasya swarupam nirupayati, some explanation. Etat manaha nama sukshma sarirasya pradhana avayavaha. The manomaya kosha, manas plus the pancha jnanendriyas. You have the sukshma sarira, 17 elements. What are they? Pancha jnanendriya, pancha karmendriya, pancha prana plus manas and buddhi. And manas is one of the important ones in this linga sarira pradhana avayavaha. Yaha dasendriyanam adhyaksham. Daso indriyon ka jo adhyak is the boss of these 10 karmendriyas and jnanendriyas you have. What do you mean by adhyaksha? Niyanta sanyojakaha niyamakascha. It is niyanta. It in a way guides your eyes what to see, what not to see. Sanyojaka, it also coordinates the activities. Niyamakascha, and regulates them. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandhamukyoyoh amritavindu upanishad. Mind is the cause of our liberation and our bondage. Why? If we have a polluted mind, we will be in bondage. If the mind becomes suddha, it becomes pure, then we are as good as liberated. That is what is made evident here. Iti uktehe mana eva indriyanam prabriti nibriti anuyayi. Mana eva indriyanam. What you want to see? Where your ears are going to go. Like for example, there's a lot of loud music playing. Fine enough. And then you have examination the next day. Are you going to listen to this music as a student, or are you going to focus on your work? Tat Hrit Padma Golake Sthitam. Where is it located? In the lotus of your heart center. Hridaya Dese Spurati. Yatra chidabhasa sahitam manaha pratyagatmanam sannikarsham prapnoti. Chidabhasa sahitam mana. The mind, you see, the reflected consciousness, the mind. Chidabhasa. Chidvat abhasa teti chidabhasa. Sahitam manaha pratyagatmanam sannikarsham prapnoti. Tasmad hridaya eva antakarnasya muladharaha. The fountain, the platform, the root platform for the play of the mind is the heart center. That is the Muladhara. It's not the Muladhara chakra as we see in our Kundalini. It is that liberally referred to as Muladhara here. Tad manah eva antakaranam iti uchyate. Mana buddhi ahankara chittani antakaranani iti. Taittiriya Bhasye, Shankaracharya has mentioned Mana Buddhi Ahankara Chittani Antakaranani. Manas and Buddhi is Antakarana by some. Mana Buddhi Chitta Ahankara, all these four are taken together to be Antakarana by the Vedantists. Remember this. Only Manas is Antakarana. It's quite possible. You can say that. Manas and Buddhi are Antakarana together. Then 2 points of Antakarana. Then you say Mana Buddhi Chitta Ahankara. Mana is yes and no. It's kind of oscillating. Buddhi is a bit of vicharatmaka. And then chitta, where all the information is stored. Ahankara is the one which is having that bhoktritva and kartritva buddhi. So together these are the antakarana. That is what is mentioned by Shankaracharya in the Taittiriya Upanishad Bhashyam. Manasaha prabritihi vaheshu visheshu aswatyantrena. The manas will get engaged with the vahya vishayas. On its own, it's not possible. It wants to take the help of the indriyas. Arthat, indriyehi vina tasya karya na siddhyati. Without the sense organs, the manas cannot connect with the external reality. If that were possible, we could go and sit in a cave and then meditate and imagine, and then we could know everything that is there in the library. The mind could apprehend all realities, but that doesn't happen. You need to read the books. Manahatu kevalam, what does man can do? Manahatu kevalam, sankalpa vikalpatmakam indrihi vishaya pratyaha upajayate. With the help of these external senses, you have vishaya pratyaya. This is the subject matter of my attention. This is a dog, this is a cat. That is possible with the help of the mind, but only through Indriya Sanyoga, Indriya Sarnikarsha Upajayate Tasmad, Indriyartha Sanyoge Jnanam Bhavati, Gaudapada 3.31. Indriyartha Sanyoge, Indriya Artha Sanyoge. You have sense organ, then you have the object of perception, there is a connection, then you have Pratyaksha Jnana. अतः मनः देशेन्द्रियाध्यक्षत्वेन सर्वेषां प्रवृत्तीनां नियामकः. Mind kindly
Please get this question, sir. You please make an area and please help others. Tell everybody to.
kindly mute yourself, television sets and stuff like that. By mistake, if you unmute, then it comes and disturbs others. So that is how we were looking at this, that manas. अतः मनः देशेन्द्रियाध्यक्षत्वेन सर्वेषाणां प्रवृत्तीनां नियामकः किन्तु इंद्रिय सहायेन एव कार्यं करोति. Even though the mind regulates, controls, guides all sense organs, it works with the help and support of the external sense organs. On its own, it cannot connect with any external reality. That is what is explained here. Now we'll go to the verse number 13 in the Ramakrishna Tika, and that same thing is mentioned as a different sloka here, as a verse number 9 here. Akhye swartharpita svetad gunadosha vicharakam sattvam rajastamasasya guna vikriyate hiteihi. Now the mana is Trigunatmika Maya's kela, right? This is a game of the Trigunatmika Maya. And whatever the Indriyas, remember, whatever we are doing, whatever we are thinking, whatever we get engaged with, the external reality, the process of our connection, and what Vikara is produced within us can be categorized in Sattvika and Rajasika and Tamasika states. Whatever happens to us, whatever we try to do, whatever is the style of our doing anything or style of our connecting, the state of the mind, the goals we set for ourselves, all these can be categorized into Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic modalities. And that point is being explained here very beautifully. Akhyeshu arthapiteshu etad guna dosha vicharakam. Now, the mind, what is the role of the mind vis-a-vis the eyes and the ears and the nose and the tongue? Isn't it? So what happens is that there is a lovely looking cake and there's a child which goes there and opens the refrigerator. There is a cake on the top layer and the child pulls it out. And then what happens? It touches, it's very soft, very beautiful smell. Then it bites. The taste is also reasonably good. But the smell, there is some problem. The baby doesn't weigh well. When the mind starts functioning, then it starts saying the cake is good, tasting good, but there are two children, one is younger, the one is older. The one who is older doesn't eat it. It's saying, no, it looks a little different. It has color. The eyes will see the color. Job over. Dismissed. They have done their job. The tongue is tastes okay. However, the elder brother who also tastes the cake, the boy doesn't eat it. The little brother is trying to bite. The older brother stops him. No, this is stale. We should not eat it. Or there is some other vichara. He suspects it's poison. He sees a bottle lying on the floor. It's some medicine thing. It strikes him. Is somebody trying to poison them? So it doesn't take that. No? The dogs are trained not to eat from strangers. Children are trained, don't accept gifts from strangers. Never ever touch. Never ever touch a chocolate. We train our children. Because of the training, the mind interferes. Otherwise, the chocolate is a chocolate, looks wonderful, appetizing, and attracts the senses. But then the mind interferes. Interferes and does what? Aksheshu arthapiteshu. Arpiteshu. Artha arpiteshu. So you have these indriyas which are given to different arthas. That means certain points or objects of attention. They're dedicated to see, dedicated to smell, dedicated to touch. And once they have done it, guna dosha vicharakam, that mind is the one who does guna and dosha vichara. What is good in it and what is bad in it? The mind starts analyzing. If you want to have a good, humorous feeling of it, you must talk to one of the wisest of aunties who is trying to sit in judgment over an arranged marriage of any niece. So there is a proposal. The guy is very handsome and this and that, but he insists the marriage should take place in a couple of weeks. The wise auntie says, why is the boy so keen on a marriage in a couple of weeks? There must be some issue. Let's find out. Is he that good? Guna dosha vicharakam. Oh, he has a good job. That is guna. Dosha, why so hurry? Why so restless? Right? Dosha, both. Sattvam rajas tamasasya guna vikriyate hitehi. And then, you see, essas the mind. We have discussed that earlier. Both manas and buddhis, they are outcomes of the sattvangsha of the sukshma pancha mahabhutas. The specific jnanendriyas are an outcome of specific tanmatras. Like the shravanendriya is an outcome of the sattvangsha of the akasa tanmatra. the Sukshma Akasa Tattva. The Chakshu is the Sukshma Bhuta Agni Karya, Sattvangsha. Sattvika Angsha, a fire element which is in subtle form, not yet Panchakrita, out of which you have the Darshanindriya. They are all very subtle, right? However, the mind, the buddhi as well as manas, they are made out of what? They are made out of all the apanchakrita pancha mahabhutas together. Why together? Because the mind accesses subject matters of the categories of sound and picture and touch and everything. So it does the activities of all the jnana indriyas, even though it is not independent. It makes use of them. But in dream, it accesses the reality of all five of them. That is why it is the Shukshma Bhuta Samasti, Sattvikangsha, out of which Manas and Buddhi both are created. Here, by Manas, we are discussing both Manas and Buddhis because we are discussing Antakarana together in a simplistic way. Akheshu arthapiteshu etad guna dosha vicharakam saktvam rajas tamaschasya guna vikriyate hitehi. And then this mind, depending on his mood, different guna vikaras, the same mind can become sattvika, can become rajasika, can become very tamasika, depending on the intensity of the presence of the guna in a person, in his mental state. So if a person gets up early in the morning and does a lot of pranayama, then he goes to a lecture. He is very attentive. Then his friend, he had a morning walk and he's tired, so he walks into the same lecture Sunday morning, some spiritual talk. He's dozing off. And then somebody is tamasik, he's still in the bed, forget about any talk or anything. He's yet to wake up from his bed. Depending on where you are, whether you are dominated by sattva or rajas or tamas, asya guna vikriyate hitehi. Depending on that, you see what kind of thing are going to come out of it. What is going to be the vikaras depends on this. Now look at the commentary he gives, is very interesting. Akhyeshu indriyeshu arthapiteshu vishayeshu stapiteshu satsu. Now, what about a guy who is super excited about a person who doesn't exist? He thinks about ghosts, angels, devils, or demons. Are we talking about him? No, we are not talking about him. We are talking about a very normal, sound-minded person who is talking about satsu, stapisesu, visheshu. They really exist. There are two critical philosophical insights here. Whatever you see, remember, they are bhabatmaka, they are sat. There is a cat, there is a horse, there is a human being. Horse, human being, cat may be a lie. They may be a rope, and you might say it looks like a snake, so you say this is a snake. Snake part could be challenged. This is cannot be challenged. This is a snake, but this is, is will stay. Therefore, he uses the word stapitesu satsu etat mano guna dosha vicharakam. This mind does a vichara of guna and dosha, the pros and cons of everything that it sees. The sense organs see the reality. The mind does vichara of guna and dosha. Idam samichinam, idam asamichinam ityadi vicharakari ityartha. This is good, this is not good. This is acceptable, this is not acceptable. This is what the mind starts analyzing. Ayam bhavaha. This is what is the conclusion. Atmanaha pramatritvena sarvajnana sadharanyat atmanaha. Here atma is not that pure atma, jivatma or paramatma. Atma means mana here. Atmanaha pramatritvena sarvajnana sadharanyat. This particular knowing, the mind, is common to everything that we know, either through the eyes or through the ears, whether we hear, we see, or taste, or we feel, whatever, it's ultimately the mind is common to all of them. Rupadi jnana janana matrina charitharthatvad tad guna dosha vicharasya upalabhyamanasya anyatha anupapatya. Let's imagine that you are looking at your grandchild. She is only 6 years of age, or your friend's grandchild, or your daughter's or your sister's grandchild, your bhanji's daughter, and you think she's on the healthier side. You want to tell your bhanji, why are you overfeeding your daughter? She looks a little on the fat side. That is what you want to mention. So what do you do? That is the point. So what do you do? He's saying, therefore he's explaining, Atmanaha pramatrtvena sarvajnana chakshuradinam rupadikis adi. As soon as you see something, as soon as you hear something, Jnanendriya has done his job. Tad guna dosha vicharasya upalabhyamanasya anyatha upapatya. Lekin you also do guna dosha vichara. The eyes were able to see there is a little child is little fatty or little on the healthier side. The eye saw the child, job is over, but there is a bit of vichara. She's a little too healthy. Why she should be so heavy? That is the vichara. Tasya anyatha upapatya. Then this you cannot conclude unless there is some vichara happening. And who is doing that vichara? Tat karanatvena mana abhivagantabhyam iti. And therefore somebody is doing that analysis. Who is it? It is the manas. Some jnana is happening. बेटी को हमने देख लिया. I saw the little child. It's not very well. It's a little too heavy. So that analysis is happening not through the eyes, but through some other antakarana, some other karana. And what is that karana? Is manas. Manaso vairagya kamadi aneka vidha vrittimatva pradarsanaya satvadi gunavatvam darshayati. Same mind. Same mind. Sometimes you will see same mind makes you completely disinterested in a party. That day you are very philosophical, maybe you are a little depressed, you are not interested. Someday when everyone is busy doing something, you want to go and see a movie, you're super excited. So sometimes you are overcome by vairagya, detachment. Another day you are overcome by your desire for something. Vairagya kamadi aneka vidha vritti mattva pradarsanaya. Mind itself experiences detachment and attachment, excitement, and sometimes despondence of frustration, all that. Sattvadi gunavatvam darshayati. How does that happen? In the addition of sattva, it becomes very vairagi. It wants to sit and meditate. It's saying, I don't like this music. Put it off. I want to sit and meditate. And then, no, I want to listen to this music. I want to go and watch a movie. I don't want to meditate. Depending on how the mind is getting modulated, getting transformed, or what is the makeup of your mind. Is it sattvika, is it rajasika, or it tamasika? Tesan tad gunatve karanam aha vikriyate. Why the mind changes its behavior? One fine morning is too lazy, the other day is super active, the third day it's in a perfect state of balance. Because he's saying these are vikaras of the sattva, rajas, and tamas. Yatahi hi yataha traigunehi vikriyate vikaram prapnoti ityartha. Because of sattva, rajas, and tamas, the mind assumes different forms, and therefore it behaves in different way. That is what he's saying. Akheshwartha pitehi piteshu etad guna dosha vicharakam sattvam rajas tamasasya guna vikriyate hitehi. Therefore, these gunas, it undergoes different kinds of changes and it behaves in different forms. Sometimes it appears to be very, very active, very spiritual, very meditative. At another point of time, it is very, very disturbing. Right? So all these things are possible. Now, next two verses together we will do. Vairagyam kshantiraudarya nityadyaha sattva sambhavaha krama krodho lobha yatna vityadya rajasothida alasya bhranti tandradya vikarastamasodhitaha. It's very easy to understand. Vairagyam kshanti. First thing is detachment. You have a sense of withdrawal. You're not super excited about everything around you. When everybody wants to go and watch a cricket match, it's quite possible that one student wants to sit and study. He goes to the library. Do you know what is the score? He smiles and looks at you questioningly. Score? What score? Cricket score. Oh, really? Some match is going on. You're watching it. He ignores you. Shanti. One person is super angry and shouts at others. Same person, after someone is trying to correct his wife or husband, saying, "Why do you get so much angry?" You know, if once I was reading a book on social psychology, a very interesting book, and there were two aspects in a marital life and the way it evolves was discussed, which was very interesting. A couple of decades back when I was a student in the university. So it says that there is a feminization of masculinity and masculinization of femininity with age. So, generally, in joint families, the children are very fond of the grandfather, the male member who is very old because he's very affectionate. He gives gifts and he loves children. Whereas, especially if you go to one of these Haryanvi or Punjabi families that you can see, the mother is the boss. She's, she's the one with all the authorities. You'll see the sons tremble in front of her. She decides everything. And she's very roktak. Grandchildren are scared of her. Dadi ko mat bolna. Dadi will not let you get married to the person you want. It is the dada who agrees. Dadi doesn't agree. Dadi has her rules. So the same person who would be very aggressive as a young man is the person who behaves like, "Why are you shouting at my children? Why don't you be a little more compassionate?" He's behaving the other way. Depends on how the mind is responding to external situations. So, in case there is a overload of sattvika energy in you, the qualities that you are most likely to display include vairagya, detachment, and kshanti, a bit of peaceful withdrawal, audaryam, a bit of liberal acceptance of things. You are a bit of full of compassion. You are empathetic. Ityadyaha sattva sambhavaha. These are the qualities which are symptomatic of a lot of sattvic energy being in you. Who is a guy whom you love, who is very peaceful and compassionate and loving and kind. And why so? Because he's a sattvic person. That sattvic energy. Remember, same prakriti, is one aspect of it. And then what happens? Kama krodho lobha yatno ityadya rajaso thita. And the person is full of desire. I want this, I want that. Then he's angry because whatever is karma, unless it is fulfilled, it gets immediately converted and takes the form of krodha or anger. And then lobha, a kind of clinging, sometimes bhaya, yatna. Then you want to have it, a lot of hard work you do. You have greediness and clinging, then you want to achieve it. So you do a lot of yatna. Ityadya rajasothita, it's rajasic energy. Somebody says, let go. The other one is, no, no, I want to get it. The winner takes it all. I need to have it. When you have that kind of an attitude, what they call the killer's attitude, that is rajasika. Alasya, bhranti, tanradya. Then the other one is lazy. Then delusion, bhranti, and tandradya. These are what? Tandradya, vikaraha, tamosothita. They are born out of what? They are born out of the energy. What kind of energy is that? Is it good energy? Bad energy. No, they are not good or bad energy. They are essentially born out of a certain interplay of same Prakriti. And this Prakriti is what is now playing out. Okay. Now, if you want to look at them, if you want to have a very good, quick understanding of this, you just have to look at the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Because all this is discussed at length, one by one. Bhagavan explains in the 14th chapter. Sattvam sukhe sanyati rajaha karmani bharata jnanam abhrityatu tamaha pramade sanjayatyuta. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati. So you see, before that he's saying, Sattva rajas tamaiti guna prakriti sambhavaha. Sattva, rajas and tamaha. These are the three gunas born out of prakriti. Nivadhnati mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. The Atma is avyaya. But then we get trapped because of the interplay of these three gunas. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvad prakasakam anamayam. Sukha sangena vadhanati jnana sangena sanagha. See, sattva is also not liberative. It is something which prepares helps you do the groundwork for entry into perfect jnana yoga. But it has its own bondage-like nature. Sukha sangena vadhanati jnana sangena sanagha. Hey anagha. Sukha and jnana, wonderful things. No, they are also bondage. Why? Nama Rupa is still there. You know a lot of things, you're having happiness, you have a blissful feeling. No, that's not liberation. That itself is also a bondage, Bhagavan is saying. But Rajas is even worse. Rajo ragatmakam viddhi tisna sanga samudbhavam tan nivadhnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. And then I want to do this, I want to achieve this is my balance sheet, this is the IRR is very low, I need to improve it, I need to have a better presentation. And then tamastu ajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehina. It's a very blinding force, ajnana. And how does it manifest? Pramada alasya nidravis tannivadhnadi bharata. Pramada alasya nidra. With these it binds us, it pulls us down. You can look at this whole chapter and it'll give you a wonderful explanation of how these three gunas sometimes they take us to high levels of consciousness. If it is sattvika, they put us in middle in a very stressful state, and sometimes they pull us down and take us to a very low state of consciousness if it is overloaded with the tamasic energy. We'll take it forward from here tomorrow, same time tomorrow. And I'll just keep it here because this one set of ideas which comes to an end, there will be another set of ideas, there will be another section which will start tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Tat Sat. See you tomorrow.